Peace. I just wanted to talk briefly about the royal wedding. And one of the things that I think that's personally important is moments like this, especially moments of global significance, maybe not to you, but to many other people, are important to study because it really is showing you that there's a paradigm shift that's taking place, or the status quo or the standards of normacy that have always been is going through a state of consolidation. Either way you want to look at it, it's important to study. One of the things that I encourage people to do from a Facebook post is I was just saying that being able to study the chronology of the British Empire, especially in terms of the customs that are part of that aristocracy, is very important to understand because America's considered the new world. The old world is considered Europe. So a lot of the customs, a lot of the traditions, a lot of the cultural values or social norms that you may see in America, you can actually study them in their infancy in the old world or in Europe and get a greater sense of why people may do the things the way that they do them by studying where a lot of those ideas and cultural norms originated. Even if those cultural norms are the result of influences of other nations of people, they were codified within the context of the British Empire as an old world society. So just studying those things are important. Like, for example, when you look at the royal court, it's customary based upon your title as a woman to curtsy to another woman. Some people don't even know what a curtsy is. It's a sign of respect and acknowledgement of a person's status and title. And that's what a woman would have to do. If a person outranked you and you came into their presence, you couldn't just walk all up in there and start talking to them. You had to curtsy, you know? And that was something that was codified when you look at those old world societies. But if you study the psychology of that and it as a social norm, you can see in present day society here in America how oftentimes women engage each other. That's a form of curtsying. And when a woman is not curtsying to another woman that outranks her, a lot of times women feel some kind of way about that. Some of those things go back to that old world society. You know what I mean? And studying them and learning a little bit more about those customs gives you greater insight into why people may do things the way that they do them today. Another thing that I noticed is, especially in this era, everybody want to throw around the title king and queen, calling themselves kings and queens, and we came from kings and queens. Not all of us did. Shit, some of us came from commoners, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? So in terms of us having that sense of regality and nobility, nah, some of us ain't come from that. And it's clearly evident by how we behave, you know? And in studying not only some of these customs and traditions of royal courts in Europe, but definitely these royal courts in other different societies, whether it's Akibalan or African societies, whether it's Asian societies, Central American, or other different indigenous societies around the world. Like, studying those customs gives us a greater sense of what it really means to be a king and a queen. Like, for example, you study certain societies and you couldn't be no damn king if you didn't have a family. And you can see why. I mean, how can you govern with authority or rule any society of people if you are never evolved to the point where you've played a role as a father or ruled aspects of your family, you know what I'm saying, and rightly guided them, like who would trust you with a group and a society of people if you haven't even done that? You know what I'm saying? So certain things like that are important to study because it gives us a sense of what it really means to be kings and queens. What it really means. These aren't just titles. Principalities, values, certain protocols and procedures come along with being a person that considers yourself noble or royal, or being a governor in a sense, or governess over a court, and what is appropriate and what's inappropriate in terms of how you should engage your people. So for example, some people calling themselves kings or queens and they don't mind getting dirty and even engaging people who would be considered commoners, going back and forth with them and stuff. And it's like, if a person just walked in and seen that back and forth stuff, they wouldn't know who was a king or a queen. There's no way to really distinguish that because people don't know how to damn behave because they ain't studying nothing, you know? So in terms of this royal wedding, it's a great opportunity. It's gotten worldwide attention, and it's a great opportunity for people to start studying what do some of these things mean. Because ultimately, if you consider yourself some kind of king or queen, it can give you greater insight in what is kingly and queenly. So I will just give you, you know, some inspiration, sense of education and empowerment, and I'll be with y'all later. Peace. Hey, what's going on, Dad?
Saladin.
Yep.
Since credentials